Mecca meltdown. 1,000 plus Hajj pilgrims succumb to deadly heat. So when we were first going to write this story, the number was 550. And since then, it's nearly doubled. Um, the 2024 Hajj pilgrimage in Mecca has been marred by tragedy as over 1,000 pilgrims have succumbed to this extreme heat, with the death toll rising by approximately 550 in just a few days. 550 was already a lot, but it's since almost doubled. This devastating situation coincides with a scorching heat wave affecting the northern hemisphere across 4 continents. The crisis has particularly impacted Egyptian pilgrims, with reports indicating that over 90% of the 658 Egyptian deaths were unregistered pilgrims, which we can get into. Other countries, including Jordan, Malaysia, and Pakistan, have also reported significant losses. The severity of the situation is underscored by Saudi authorities' reports of more than 2,700 cases of heat exhaustion on June 16th alone. Climate experts warn that this may become a recurring issue, with a Saudi study noting that temperatures in pilgrimage areas were rising by zero point 0.4 degrees Celsius per decade. As one Arab diplomat starkly observed, quote, the new death figures, including 58 Egyptians and around totaling to around 630, or more than 90% of the reported deaths from this country, are not registered with the Saudi government, highlighting the scale of the tragedy and the challenges faced by both official and unofficial pilgrims. So, this is one of the deadliest pilgrimages that has occurred in about 10 years. There was a high death count around 2015. And I believe that was because in 2015 there was like a stampede and a crowd crush. There was reportedly one person that died in a crowd crush this year, which, by the way, is one of my biggest fears in the entire world. Um and But this is because of the extreme heat and heat exhaustion. But apparently, what has made this so much worse is a high degree of unofficial pilgrims. So, for people who are not aware, to go on Hajj, the Saudi government has a special kind of visa. And this visa has a quota. They only give out so many. And the thing is, people come through many, many unofficial means to still partake in the Hajj. And this is a problem because maybe they like come overstay a work visa, maybe they come in on a tourist visa and overstay. But this is a big problem because the Saudi government apparently has special areas where you can cool down, where you can get water, rest, receive medical attention, etc., that are only accessible to official pilgrims, aka people that went through and got the proper visas and the proper paperwork. And so this leaves many people out in the thick of the heat all day. In certain aspects of the pilgrimage require you, like going to Mount Arafat or whatever, to be outside for hours and hours and hours. And when the Saudi government is telling you to not be outside at all from like 11 a.m. to 3 p.m., that's like most of your day, right? And so this led to this situation where over 1,000 people have died because they weren't getting water or being able to access places where they could take care of themselves. Um, and there's a video that we can show about this, Armin, because apparently, from the videos that I've seen, bodies were just being left on the street. Um, oh, you're muted.
I said, give me a second. I'm getting it ready. Oh, wow. Holy crap. What is this? Is this a video?
Yeah. So just a heads up, like there are alleged dead bodies in this video. Some things are blurred, but I figured that it should be fine for us to show in this because there's already a YouTube video posted about it. It's nothing graphic.
Is there music?
I don't think so. It's just like a news report.
Okay. Okay.
It's one of the 5 pillars of the Islamic faith, the obligation to perform Hajj once in your lifetime if you're financially and physically capable. But how to assess in advance your ability to withstand days of outdoor exertion in an ever more unpredictable and extreme climate? Videos posted on social media this week, which we can't independently verify, purport to show bodies lying in the street. The AFP news agency says more than 1,000 pilgrims have died, based on a tally of figures from foreign diplomats. The Saudi government has so far given no official number.
There were many people that were suffering from heat, exhaustion, and yes, there was along the official authorized route that we were aware of, there was a plentiful supply of people and individuals and people in authority that were handing out bottles of water, squirting water, and also a lot of water fountains available. Given the intensity of the heat, I think in the coming years, I suspect that they do need to take some further action.
More than 600 of those who died were reportedly Egyptian, the overwhelming majority of them unregistered pilgrims, people who'd come in on cheaper tourist visas or overstayed work permits and wouldn't have access to the same air-conditioned facilities as those on official tours. One UK-based critic of the Saudi government says it's become a two-tier experience.
We see that all the hierarchies are reproduced, so the poor ones are actually the ones who suffer most. And this explains why there's so much death among certain pilgrims from particular countries like Egypt, Bangladesh, Morocco, Tunisia, etc.
This year's Hajj is the deadliest since 2015, when an estimated 2,400 people died in a stampede, a number arrived at long after this footage was first broadcast. The official Saudi toll remained at 769. The infrastructure has since been upgraded, including a complex one-way system and improved healthcare facilities. Following the lunar calendar, the Hajj period starts 11 days earlier each year. In the coming years, it's heading for springtime. The next summer cycle comes in the mid-2040s. Climate scientist Fahad Saeed is co-author of a study setting out what it may be like for pilgrims then.
The authorities in Saudi Arabia, they are going for adaptation options. But adaptation options have their limits. So unless we stop emissions and we abide by the Paris Agreement, I'm afraid that we will continue to see such calamities.
Saudi Arabia wants to attract 30 million pilgrims a year by 2030, performing both the Hajj and the smaller year-round Umrah pilgrimage. Such numbers can only intensify the challenge of retaining the event's essential religious character while adapting to an ever hotter world.
Okay, so first thing. Where is this? I want to get to this part. Hold on. Let me go to the beginning. Not this part.
Lifetime to withstand days of outdoor exertion in an
this part. Let me actually mute this video. You are a failure as a father.
Oh my God.
A failure as a father if you bring your child to this. Am I wrong? I'm not wrong.
Well, explain your reasoning.
Like the fact this heat, you bring your child to this experience, like you suck as a dad. You suck as a dad if you make your child experience this. I don't know what to say to this man. This made me very angry. Also, I didn't expect to be, because I came here wanting to go full on swinging against the Saudi government's failures to protect these people. And now I completely changed my mind. And I think this is going to sound pretty heartless, but I'm not trying to be heartless. But it seems like it was these people's fault. The people who died, it seemed like it was mostly their own fault that they died. The government
because they're doing it illegally?
Yeah. I mean, they're telling you that, hey, don't come here. You shouldn't be in the sun at this time. For people who registered, we have these places to go. You shouldn't be at this time, this much under the sun, blah, blah, blah. And people are just trying to cut corners, save money, go through illegal ways, and they die. I mean, it's they are responsible. Like, what the hell are they supposed to, like, this woman, what the hell is the government supposed to do? I already provided the ways for you to come, and I provided cooling areas and everything. I didn't expect the stream to be me defending the Saudi government, but it seemed like they were doing all they had to do to provide people with the means to cool themselves if they properly register, if they properly pay for the things that the services that they're providing, and they go through the, the standard channels that they have set for people. So somebody wants to cut corners, come through illegal ways, they don't have access to the stuff that other people have access to. Whose fault is it? Like, you already knew it's hot. Did you not know it's hot? Did you know people die under heat? You knew you're not going to have access to these cooling areas if you didn't go through the proper, hey, like, oh, well, I'm so poor, I couldn't afford it. Well, don't go then, you idiot. You kill I almost said something that YouTube is sensitive about. You unalived yourself. Okay? It's not the government's, for once, it's not the Saudi government's fault. They're not at fault. They are the people who died, they're at fault. Or whoever brought them. Those elderly person in the wheelchair, whoever brought them. And this whole one, like, oh, this is a two-tier system. Poor people
so
versus not poor
old
people.
And it's bad
But
because
that
a lot of
lady
people save up their entire life to go, and then when they're finally financially able to go, like, they're quite elderly, and it's really dangerous. It was interesting. I was looking up, like, what are the most dangerous pilgrimages in the world, and most of them rate the Hajj as number one.
Right. Unless you're a woman and get molested, you have somebody fingers you while you're circling the Kaaba, which is, oh, you don't know what I'm talking about?
No, I know exactly what you're talking about. I just wasn't expecting you to come out and say it like that.
Yeah, so a high percentage of women's experience with the most spiritual time of their life if someone else's finger up their butt. Okay, this is a open secret now of the Hajj experience that people don't know, right? So this is the only Islamic place that men and women are mixed. Do people know this? Like, the only, like, everywhere else Islamic center in the world, men and women are separated. Mosques, men and women are separated. Karbala, men and women are separated. Shrines of imams, Shia imams, men and women are separated. It's only the Kaaba. It's only the Hajj where you go. And the idea, the philosophy behind it is that this is such a holy place that men and women will be so focused on the spiritual experience that you will be so out of your mind in this area that nobody would be thinking about sexual stuff. And that's why this is the only place where men and women are mixed. And guess what happens when you mix Muslim men with women, right? You understand these sexually frustrated people, for the first time, they're in a public area that women are also mixed with them, and the bodies are touching, and everybody's close with each other. Guess what happens? Women get sexually molested all the time. And in fact, it's the main experience that women have during their Hajj experience. All their lives, they were waiting for this very spiritual experience that they had dreamt about it. They thought this was going to be the most special day of their life when they finally go to the house of God. And right when they're next to it, they feel another dear brothers Muslim, that another man that is religious Muslim, that is also there to have his religious experience, his spiritual experience. But he decides in that moment to just grab your ass and just ruin the whole experience for you. And there's many reports on this.
I've heard of women losing their faith because of it.
Yes. You see, this is a widespread experience for women at the Hajj. So go look it up.
That reminds me. There was a tweet that happened a while ago, and it was from some like Turkish Muslim lady. And basically it was a video, it was a photo. It was a photo of either the Umrah or the Hajj, whatever. And in the photo, imagine like a massive group of women, like a huge group of women all together in a giant crowd, and then bordering this giant rectangle of women is several men, like all linking arms together as a border around this giant group of women. And the caption from this Turkish Muslim lady was like, "Oh my God, look at the glory of Islam, how much the men uplift and respect the women, look at what they're doing to make sure that they can visit the holiest place in the best possible way. Like, look at what they're doing to protect them, blah, blah, blah. And everyone's like, lady, who are the men protecting all the women from in the most holy place?
Exactly.
You didn't put 2 and 2 together? Like, sure, it is very it is honorable for men to be protecting women. I value that. But you're not going to ask like why that needs to be happening, especially in that particular place. But no, you use this as an example of how upstanding and superior your morality is, not identifying that by law, the only people who can even be in the entire city is supposed to be only Muslims. I don't know if people know this, but if you're driving on the highway towards Mecca, there's literally an exit where non-Muslims have to get off the highway because they're not even supposed to be in the city. Although, fun fact, I have a friend, an Atheist Republic member, who recently went to Mecca. So there are
yeah, but you have to pretend you're a Muslim.
Mecca. Of course you do. We've had multiple friends in Mecca do Hajj. So it is possible, but you know, in theory, it's supposed to be exclusively Muslims. But there's something else.
Wait, let me show.
Oh, go ahead.
Let me show what you're talking about. No, yeah. So you can see when you're driving on the highway in Saudi Arabia and you're getting close to Mecca. So you can see this is getting Mecca. Muslims are not supposed to be near the city, right? So in many Muslims argue that it actually should be all of Saudi Arabia where non-Muslims are not allowed. But some people, because Muhammad said that before his death, right? But now some people, because that's not feasible, they have reduced Muhammad saying to just Mecca only, right? But you can see Muslims only. Like, you actually have to take the exit if you are a non-Muslim. You can't go close to Mecca. You actually, it says for non-Muslims. You have to take imagine living in a country where the highway sign is dividing the traffic based on Muslim and non-Muslim. It's insane. This is insane. Yeah. But go ahead.
Yeah, and when I see women wearing like thick, heavy black like abayas, jilbabs, burqas, like I just lose my mind. Like I cannot imagine. Like when you go through a heat wave, like oh my God, it's the worst. It's just suffering. One thing is though, Armin, that I thought was a very interesting point in the little news clip that we just watched is, and I want you to speak on this, the woman talking about the 2-tier experience of the Hajj.
Yes, I was talking about that.
Well, no, the whole idea, one of the central important themes of it is it's supposed to be the place where all differences amongst the Ummah disappear.
Oh, okay.
Where all barriers of class, heritage, language, any differences between the Muslims of the world are supposed to disappear, and they are supposed to be one united Ummah in this place. And so I thought that was so interesting how she's talking about, and I'm assuming this has always been the case, but maybe it's just very obvious now. Really? You don't
yes.
Oh, well, go ahead. Basically, just to finish my sentence, that there is this.
So if you go by
dynamic,
what Malcolm X experience was, it was like that, right? So Malcolm X, when he went to, he had that experience that like race, wealth, this is where we're all equal. Like, I mean, the whole point of it is that you remove all your clothes and you wear that white thing because nobody can demonstrate with like watches or like jewelry that they are wealthier. And this is a place where we're all equal Muslims. If you're not a Muslim, you're obviously not equal. But as Muslims, we're all equal here, right? That's the whole point. And you feel like if you're a king, the king and the peasant, we're walking around this house of God together, and it doesn't matter that he's a king and I'm not. We just are. This is a place that we feel how similar we are, right? And to be fair, if you just go a couple, a few decades before, I think like that was the actual experience. But Saudi being full on, being into luxury, being into, tourism, and just heavily going into the capitalist route, they obviously had to change that experience for people who are spending more money, right? So if you actually go look at the experience, the hotels, they're like very luxurious for the people, rich Muslims that go there. Their experiences like so different. Like Muslims who are going there, and they have hotels that with the amazing view of the Kaaba, with the most luxurious facilities. So yeah, no, the experience now is not at all the same. In fact, so many rich Muslims, when they go to the Hajj and they take videos of their experience and post it on social media to flex, a lot of other Muslims criticize that. They're like, what the hell? This is not the experience I had in Hajj. I thought was a place that we were supposed to be equal. But so many really rich Muslims like to flex about their experience with Hajj and show other Muslims about, like, look how amazing my it's very Instagrammable for them. Their Hajj experience is very Instagrammable, right? And they want to flex on their other fellow Muslims, and other Muslims get angry about it, like the whole
I mean, rightfully
experience is not
so.
going.
From
Right.
a religious perspective, it is completely counter to what the purpose of this kind of mission is supposed to be. The
Right.
Hajj flex. Yeah. Hashtag pimp my Hajj. Oh my gosh. So considering that, do you think that the Saudi government should make these areas where they provide people rest and water and sprays and services, all the accommodations
They
they make
had
along
that.
no, I'm saying along the official route, which is for the people who are there legally, should they just make that open to everyone?
Yeah, I mean, if they can, yeah, of course. If they have enough resources, of course, right? But if they don't have enough resources, then they have to find a way to allocate that based on who's properly there, right?
Yeah.
But yeah,
It's tough.
but let me actually try. Yeah,
The idea of
I wanted.
the stampedes and the crowd crushes is the scariest thing in the world to me, because that's a lot more difficult to prevent.
Okay, let me show you some pictures. Hold on, this is gonna be fun.
Oh boy, I'm bracing myself.
If it loads. Yeah, okay, so so these are some of the hotels that you have with the view of the Kaaba, and because it's has the view of the Kaaba, they're very high in price. Like, look at this hotel; it's amazing, right? And you have the Kaaba in the view, but also they have now these things where you could just stay inside and you are praying towards the Kaaba, but with like full air conditioning and everything inside. So you have the Kaaba in view, but you're technically inside.
I've
Right?
heard that there are even things that will drive you around, so you can do tawaf being driven.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. So this is not the same experience as those people who were dying in the streets from the heat. Like, this is, you get like food here, you get air conditioning, and you can see the Kaaba as well. So yeah, completely different.
It makes
But
me
I
sad
saw
because
this.
like these people feel so compelled to do it and so certain to do it. Like that, even when it's really, really dangerous for them to do it. I wonder how many people have the mentality of like, oh, I'm being tested, like I have to continue.
Yeah. But okay, hold on. Let me actually show the whole clock tower next to the Hajj is a hotel, right?
Really?
You know which one I'm talking about?
I think I do.
Yeah, there's. So if you, and it's freaking gigantic. It's a monstrosity, and it looks ugly in my opinion, right?
Oh, I remember this.
Hold on,
And
let
it
me
was
bring
made to
this.
look like Big Ben. Right?
Yeah, so it's not. It doesn't look Islamic at all because it was not designed to be Islamic. Because the Saudis were obsessed with everything Western, right? And they wanted to copy the Big Ben, but 1,000 times bigger. Like, look how it's towering over the Kaaba,
It's huge.
and it just makes the Kaaba look like very insignificant. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and didn't that trigger a lot of
But
people?
yeah, I mean, it should, because that's why in a lot of pictures they don't actually show it, because it just shows what a gigantic. This is. I want to find a good image to show
Yeah,
you
no,
the
it's
relevant
insane.
size.
We would say it
Yeah, I
looks
don't know
rather
why I'm not getting.
gauche.
Yeah. So the idea was that the Big Ben is like the center of the most recent empire, the British Empire, right? And they wanted to compete with the structure that was representation of this. Why am I not getting any good images?
These are fine.
Hmm. Okay, so let me actually bring this up. This is a better image. Copy image address. This one. Yeah, this one. Okay, so the idea was that the Big Ben was the center of the world, and Saudi Arabia wanted to be the center of the world, and they built this there to compete with Big Ben, to show like this. But they built something that is not. It doesn't have an Islamic look. It doesn't have an Arabic look. It just has a Western look, because the Saudis they're not original. They just copy other people, right? And they think just bigger means better. So they're like, what if we just made Big Ben in Mecca, but just show that we're superior by just making it so much larger, right?
Mm.
And if you see a lot of pictures of Kaaba that are posted by Muslims, they try to not to include other, except the ones that have a Western perspective. They try not to include the clock tower because they're embarrassed by it, because it doesn't look Islamic at all. Like, they try to take pictures of Kaaba without including that clock tower next to it, because it's obviously a Western design, right? And it just makes the Kaaba look so small. I want to know if people understand how, like, when you go to Kaaba, you're supposed to, before they had this this clock tower, people would think like, oh my God, I look at this house of God, I'm right next to it, and you will be taken over by that. But now when you go to the Kaaba, this clock tower just takes your breath away, because it's so big, how big it is. And because that's the thing that takes your breath away, then the Kaaba is not the thing that it actually takes your breath away. Do you know what I mean? Then you're like, oh my God, look at this. If anything looks divine, is the clock tower, because it's massive. And it's just like it's like a mountain. Like, if you're there, you'll notice how gigantic it is. Like, it's just like covering half the sky. If I could, like, look at this image, for example. You should watch videos of it to see how the monstrosity
Oh my
that it is.
God.
Right.
It has nouveau riche written all over it.
We're going down a rabbit hole. Here, let me actually show you the relevant size. Okay, sorry, one more image, so you understand what I'm talking about. Okay, I found what I wanted to show. Okay, look at this. Okay, look at the size of this. Look at the size of this thing, right? So this is the Mecca clock tower, right? And this tiny little thing here, that they modeled it after this, But look how much bigger.
It's like, let's make a clock tower and let's slap 2 Empire State Buildings like in it as well. Like,
Right. Right. You know what this means? You know what this says to me? This says inferiority complex to me.
dude, you're not kidding.
Yeah, this is trying to show, this is like mine is bigger written all over it. This is a sign of an
Well,
inferiority
that's why I'm
complex. Let's
saying, like,
make it-
nouveau riche. Like, you don't have to be flashy if you actually have like wealth. You know what I mean? There's a difference
Right,
between like
right.
being rich and being wealthy. And this is just giving like, oh, I need to show that I have it. I don't know. It's, oh my goodness. Yeah.
Anyways, that was
Zaid is
nice
saying
and
that there are
tricky.
rooms inside the numbers on the clock. Holy mother.
Are you serious?
Wait.
I don't believe that. That's how big it is, that you can actually put rooms in the numbers. Double check that.
Wait. I'm not sure. I'm not getting results. It is freaking massive though. Man, construction must
Yes.
have been a real headache.
Well, not when you have slaves.
Oh, ay. So let's go to the next story because, well, and also some super chats. So we got some super chats, and then we have
Wait.
a very important.
Wait.
Oh, come on.
Sorry,
What is
one last image. Like, let me look at this. Look at the Kaaba. The baby on the Kaaba, so cute, little tiny little Kaaba there. And look, wow, drum. Look at all of this. Drum.
So out of place.
Okay. Yeah, look at that. Like, it looks like a dot compared to this giant. What the fuck? Okay, I can go.
Crazy.
Yeah.
It's so cute. It is cute. So we got some super chats, and Angel, once again, our Angel
Oh my god.
sent us a $100 super chat, insanely generous, saying, OMG, I am late but glad to see everyone. I hope everyone is having a good day and enjoying the stream. Well, thank you, Angel.
Well,
And
thank
thank
you
you
so
for
much.
making our program possible. If you like what we do, if you find it interesting, if you think we're funny, amusing, stupid enough to make you laugh, consider supporting Atheist Republic either by liking, subscribing, making a comment, or sending us super chats, money on PayPal, links in the description. There's a lot of ways to join our community and supporting the community of people who like to question religious dogma and fight for free expression.
Thank you so much. Seriously, Angel, you have no idea how major of a difference you're making for this channel. I don't know.
It actually is crazy.
Thank you.
Gasian American sent a super chat. Thank you, Gasian, saying, is it haram for women to wear a masculine voice filter? Now, I have heard some preachers say that it is haram for you to be imitating the other sex, to the point that when Mufti Menk posted a video of him knitting, Daniel Hakikaju was criticizing him for doing women's work because it's imitating the other sex. I wonder if you would say that about women. On the other hand, there are women that purposefully make their voice lower or more masculine to not arouse temptation. So Mufti Armin, what is your ruling? Is it? Which is it?
It depends on why you're doing it. Okay. If you're a woman who's acting like a man, sounding like a man because you think you are a man, that is obviously haram. But if you're changing your voice to masculine so that you don't arouse the person you're talking to, that's obviously not only is halal, it's that you actually have sawab, like God is
Mm.
going to give you some rewards for it, right? So
Mm.
again, if you're a woman and your voice is arousing and you change your voice to sound like a man, if that's because you think that you are a man and you're trying to be a man, haram. If you're changing your voice so that when we hear you, we don't get aroused, then that's you could set God will celebrate. Good job, good job. In fact, I will tell you a story. My math teacher in Iran told me that he once went to his friend's house and he knocked on the door, and his friend was very religious, and it was a very religious household. And the woman, apparently, they teach you very religious people. Like, this is very rare. Like, I've never even seen this myself, right? But very religious family will tell this is a very unique. I haven't even seen this in very religious household. This was extremely religious family. So they think that they could speak to you with their normal womanly voice only twice. The third time they have to change their voice, right? So he knocked on the door. He says, like, where's Ali? And he said the wife answered, he's not here. And so, like, well, when is he going to be back? And she said, I don't know. And she was speaking normally. And then he said, like, well, can I leave a message? And then she said, like, yeah, you can. Like, what the? And he was so scared. Like, what the hell happened? So she had a Batman. She had the Batman voice for the third time. She turned to Batman, right? And he was like, he didn't know what's happening. Yes, he didn't know what the hell happening. Like, then she realized that, oh, okay, this was the third time, and she couldn't continue speaking to him in a womanly voice because he might get aroused. So that's why he changed his voice. She changed her voice. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
So,
the surprise Batman.
yes.
Yeah, DSA. Or you could just avoid all these problems and, like the Islamists in the UK, just have your wife just be speechless and use a whiteboard.
Oh yeah. I should do a stream on that.
Yes,
I should do a stream. Yes.
So psychotic.
Guys, subscribe. I'm gonna do a stream on this.
It is the extent that people go to like erase the fact that a female is human is crazy.
No.
Like, God forbid you identify that person as an individual. Oh my God.
Actually, can I become Islamic for 1 second?
Oh yes, go ahead.
Yes, in fact, we are celebrating their humanness and their individuality, okay? Because part of being human, okay, is being sexual, right? We Muslims celebrate the sexuality of women and men, okay? You think we're anti-sexual? We're not. In fact, we celebrate it so much that we protect it. This is our protection of the human experience that is sexuality of women and men, right? We understand, we're not denying it, but we understand that it's best expressed within the context that God has provided for mankind, within the framework, within the family, for the husband. So we don't deny the female sexuality. We just want to express it in the most beautiful, divine way that God has told us. That is the way that we are celebrating it even more. In fact, you are the ones who are making it, who are dismissing the value of female sexuality by just showing it and spreading it around. We Muslims, we recognize it's worth so much that we protect it instead of just handing it over for free to anyone who wants it. Okay, this is the difference. Here we go.
By making everything sexual.
Well, you cannot. So this is your mind is corrupted by the woke leftists. Okay, sexuality. Humans are. We are sexual. We're always going to be sexual. It's the woke left who denies the sexuality of men and women. The human and their sexuality are inseparable, and wherever they go, they're going to have their sexuality with them. We don't deny we're not unlike these woke leftists. We're not denying biology. We know that it's going to always be there. That's why we're protecting it. Okay, there you go. That's my answer.
Oh, well, I've been properly schooled.
Yes.
Oh, degenerate occupier of the Jahannam. Amazing username. Give super chat saying love you both very much. Keep up the good work. Thank you. Thank you for
Yeah.
supporting the show. And
You
Shuvo.
too.
Shuvo is one of my good friends. Gave super chat. Thank you, Shuvo, saying the freaking body odor, bro. Hajj must be so freaking sweaty. Ew, brother. Ew. Because okay, here's the thing. I have had friends who have complained about being on the bus with hijabis because very religious women will not use any deodorant because perfume is haram for women because it is tempting, right? So they're like, God forbid you're stuck on a hot bus with a bunch of hijabis. It's not going to be smelling too good. This is what I've been told. Is it also forbidden for men?
Wait, what is specifically?
Just perfume, because many people,
Yeah.
some people
Yes.
interpret just deodorant in general to be, you know, perfuming yourself, so they avoid all deodorant as well. And I know it's not okay for women, but is it okay for men? Do you know?
Well, given that Muhammad did use certain things to remove his body odor and smell more, I'm just going to go. This is something that you don't need to have an opinion on because it's set within the Sunnah, right? Because so Muhammad himself was very concerned about his odor coming from his mouth, and he did things to remedy it. So we don't have to wonder about this. We could just follow the Sunnah of Muhammad.
Okay, how considerate.
Mm-hmm.
I guess he always had some breath mints. And Adam gave a super sticker. Thank you, Adam. And Bernard is saying Armin knows his stuff. That's right. Mufti Armin is he's a force. Asian American gives super chat saying they should build a series of these hotels in a radiating circle that spells out Allah's 99 names when viewed from above, with a lottery seats.
Do you know who makes the most amazing, gorgeous, and other adjectives that I can't use here on YouTube, blasphemous art ever? We do! And for some reason, we are giving it away for free. Download them now using the link in the description before we change our mind.